NFL free agency is a little bit over a month away, and the Texans have quite a few players that are going to hit free agency, 21 to be exact. Some of these players, the Texans absolutely have to keep. Other of these players, the Texans definitely have to move on from them, and some of these players, they're backup players. It'd be nice to keep them, or they can go whatever. So let's just get right into this. Let's start off with our biggest free agent, DJ Reader. Now let me just say this: with these videos that I make, I always stay from a realist's perspective. Like, I'm not pessimist, I'm not an optimist. I am a realist. That's just the way I look at life. I'm not a homer, and I'm not a negative Nancy. So whenever I put out these videos, I always give you the realist perspective, like from a realistic standpoint, and then I give you, I guess an emotion-based perspective from a Texans fan standpoint. And at the end of every video, I ask for your opinion because I actually care what other people have to think on whatever the topic is. And never, ever, ever do I, get mad at you for having a different opinion from me, because everybody has different opinions, and I like that, because if we didn't, then we'd all be the same, and we'd all be lame and boring. So unlike these other people out here, I don't judge you guys for your opinion. Everybody has their own opinion, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I feel like a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on my opinion on what we should do with DJ Reader. So now look, I love DJ Reader. I said it on my last video. I love DJ Reader because he's Quentin Nelson's daddy, he's Derrick Henry's daddy, and he's my daddy. So I love DJ Reader, but from what I've heard, DJ Reader wants 14 to 15 mil a year. Can't do it, man. If that's what he actually wants, you absolutely have to let him walk. DJ Reader, he is a dominant run stopper, a two-down player because he's a nose tackle. But you do not pay 14 to 15 mil a year for a two-down player. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. Now, if DJ Reader wants 12 mil or less, you absolutely do it, because I think DJ Reader is very, very good. I wouldn't even say he's very, very good. The dude is downright elite. He's an elite run stopper. But unfortunately, the Texans need a guy on the inside that can rush the passer, that can push the pocket and disrupt the quarterback. DJ Reader, for as good as he is at stopping the run, he doesn't provide that in the passing game. Now, look, this is the messed up part. If the Texans wouldn't have overpaid Whitney Merciless, I think it would have been fine to overpay for DJ Reader. But since the Texans done goofed and overpaid for Whitney Merciless, then you can't overpay for DJ Reader. I just think that's bad roster management. Just how I think paying 14, 15 mil a year for a two-down player like DJ Reader is also bad roster management. Now, personally, I think there's better options out there than DJ Reader. Arik Armstead and Chris Jones come to mind from San Francisco and Kansas City. Now, if the Texans were to let DJ Reader walk and couldn't get Armstead or Chris Jones, then I would be pissed. Now, if they let him walk and they got one of them, preferably Arik Armstead, then I'd be happy. I wouldn't mind DJ Reader leaving. But here's the thing, like I said, I always provide from what I would do and from the realistic standpoint. Realistically, the Texans are probably going to let DJ Reader walk, and they're going to let Angelo Blackson and Carlos Watkins fill the void left by DJ Reader. And yeah, I do not like that. But, that's just what I would do with DJ Reader personally. I think it's very tough. Now, if we keep him, I wouldn't be mad. If we let him walk, I wouldn't be mad unless we didn't find an adequate replacement for him. Now, next guy, Bradley Roby. This is another tough one because Bradley Roby's market value is set like at 14 mil a year on average. And although Roby did some good things for us, although Roby proved me wrong, because I always admit when, I'm wrong. I always admit it. Now, whenever we signed Roby, I was pissed because Roby was trash in Denver. At least the past 2 years that he was in Denver, he was trash. And I thought, you know what, Roby's trash. F him, whatever. But he proved me wrong. He performed well. Now, I don't think Roby performed 14 mil a year on average well. I really, really don't. I like what he did for us, those picks that he had, the pick 6 versus Tampa, the pick versus Brady, Roby is Brady's daddy. So, I love that, but 14 mil a year for our second best corner? Because if you watch the games, if you watch the film, Roby's number 2 to Garyon Conley, dude. Garyon Conley's going to be a stud. And keep in mind, Conley played with a messed up neck, a messed up hamstring, and a messed up ankle. Dude wasn't healthy. He came in mid-season and balled out as our number 1 corner. Conley, and not only that, man. Whenever Jonathan Joseph got healthy, because he was a little bit banged up there, towards the middle of the season, when he got back, Romeo Crennel, for whatever reason, he kept, mixing Conley and Joseph in and out of the lineup, which was so dumb. And, so Conley basically had everything going against him, and time again, Conley performed. Now, with Roby, I wouldn't be too mad if we let him walk, and I wouldn't be mad if we kept him. I wouldn't mind Roby staying here, but I also wouldn't mind Roby not being here, if that makes sense, But I will say this. If we let Roby walk, we have to find another corner, We have to. It might not be Byron Jones. I have heard that AJ Boye is very likely to get cut this offseason. So I'd pick up AJ Boye, make him our number 2 corner with Garyon Conley, our number 1 corner. Now, here's from the realistic standpoint. This is probably what's going to happen. The Texans are going to let Roby walk. They're going to sign Jonathan Joseph to a 1-year deal, probably worth 4.5 mil. Joseph is going to be our number 4 corner, while Garyon Conley's our 1. Lonnie Johnson is our 2. The thought of Lonnie Johnson being our number 2 corner terrifies me. Terrifies me, man. The guy is way too inconsistent. Or at least he was as a rookie. He's a little too grabby. He likes to grab the players and, gets called for PI, holding, and all that stuff. And I don't think one off season is going to be enough for Lonnie Johnson to progress as a player. I think he needs more time. And then our number 3 corner would be Vernon Hargreaves. And Hargreaves, he is really inconsistent. But when he's on and he's good. But, he's not always on. That's the issue. And if you're going to have 2 very inconsistent players as your number 2 and number 3 corner, then your secondary's probably going to suck. So, I don't know, man. Roby, I kind of wouldn't mind the Texans franchise tagging him for a year and, going with Garyon Conley and Roby as our 1 and 2 corners for next season. I wouldn't mind that at all because I don't want to commit to Roby long term, honestly. I think that's what terrifies me. I would rather franchise tag Roby this season, or get him for another 1 year prove-it deal. Maybe if he's down for that. I doubt it. He's probably gonna want to get a bunch of money, but I want to wait for Jalen Ramsey, and I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna say, why don't we get Jalen Ramsey? Jalen Ramsey is not a free agent this offseason. I don't know who keeps telling you guys that Ramsey's a free agent this offseason, but whoever it is, they're wrong. He's not a free agent this offseason. They picked up his 5th-year option, so he will be with the Rams next season. And then, he could possibly be a free agent in 2021 unless the Rams franchise tag him. But who knows what happens there, but I'd rather, maybe tag Roby and then wait for Ramsey next year because Ramsey wants to be a Texan, and everybody knows that. Come on. All right, next guy, Lamar Miller. He can walk. He's trash. Doesn't fit our scheme. Yeah, he can walk. Next guy, Jonathan Joseph. Personally, I will let him go. I think he's trash. He's washed. He's old. He's bald. But knowing the Texans, they're probably going to bring him back. So brace yourself, guys. Brace yourself. Next guy, Barkevious Mingo. Special teamer. Had that blocked punt in the playoffs versus the Chiefs. I wouldn't mind bringing him back. I mean, he's a special teamer. And our special teams was really good this year, so I wouldn't mind bringing him back. Next guy, Kaimi Fairbairn. We absolutely have to bring Fairbairn back. I know a lot of you guys hate Fairbairn, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and Fairbairn finished really well. After Brian Anger got the holds down right, Fairbairn didn't miss another field goal or PAT or kick, whatever you want to call him, the rest of the season. Fairbairn wasn't the problem. Fairbairn was good. The holds just weren't right. Remember, laces out. Anger wasn't doing his job, and then he was doing his job, and then Fairbairn started making his kicks. Funny how that works, huh? Next guy, AJ McCarron, backup quarterback. I'd probably bring him back because he's, been in the system for a year. I mean, whatever. It's a backup quarterback, man. If Deshaun Watson gets hurt, Lord forbid, knock on wood, whatever you want to say. If Watson gets hurt, season's over. I mean, I don't care who's the backup quarterback. It could be me, it could be you, AJ McCarron. We're screwed. Next guy, Carlos Hyde. I'd bring back Carlos Hyde on a 1-year deal, probably worth like $3 million. Now, Carlos Hyde did some good things for us. Now, he is a little bit older. You got to consider that. That's why I'd only commit to him for 1 year. I wouldn't want to commit to him long term. And I don't think he's worth like I don't think he's worth anything more than $3 million, honestly. But the reason why I want Carlos Hyde back is because not only did he fit our scheme, but I want the Texans to draft a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Meaning, if the Texans are planning to draft a running back with the 2nd round pick, and they're planning on drafting, one of 3 running backs, and then the pick comes, I think we're pick 57? Pick 57 comes along, and all 3 of those running backs are off the board. What do the Texans do now? They'd be screwed with Duke Johnson being their only good running back. So that's why I think, we should bring back Carlos Hyde just in case we can't draft the running back we want. Next guy, Brandon Dunn, backup player, run stopper guy. I'd bring him back, honestly. I wouldn't mind him being back. Next guy, Darren Fells. This one's tough, man, because we got Akins, Thomas, and Kahali Waring, all very young tight ends. I'd probably bring back Darren Fells on a very cheap 1-year deal with nothing guaranteed on that contract, and I'd have him compete with Jordan Thomas for that final tight end spot, because to me it's very clear that the Texans love Jordan Akins, and they're not going to cut a 3rd round pick tight end, that didn't play this past season. They're not going to give up on him. So to me, it's between Jordan Thomas and Darren Fells. So I'd bring Fells to compete in training camp and preseason. Next guy, Jalil Adai. I'd bring back Adai. I think he's a good box safety, meaning he should only stay in the box if Jalil Adai is in deep coverage. The Texans are in deep trouble. Jalil Adai, he can maybe cover the shallow routes, but if it's deep, I do not trust him. Keep him as a box safety, extra linebacker type of guy. I wouldn't mind him, coming back. Next guy, Mike Adams, old, let him walk. Bald, let him walk. Joe Webb, he can walk. He's a terrible quarterback. He's just an all-around bad player. I mean, I know a lot of fans like Joe Webb. I don't know why, but I was never a fan of Joe Webb. Next guy, Tywan Jones. I don't really care for him. He can walk. He can stay. I mean, he had that nice play in the playoffs versus the Bills to set up the game-winning field goal. But other than that, what did he really do, Next guy, John Weeks. You absolutely have to re-sign John Weeks. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. If John Weeks isn't on the Houston Texans in 2020 and beyond, then I will no longer watch the Houston Texans in 2020 or beyond. So the Texans better wise up and sign John Weeks long term, because you don't find long snappers like John Weeks anymore. You just don't. They just don't make long snappers how they used to. Like, John Weeks is a special breed, man. We got to bring him back. Next guy, Chris Clark, backup tackle. He's got to go. He's trash. Next guy, Phillip Gaines, backup corner. He played like one game against the Chiefs. He's trash. He's got to go. Next guy, Tyrell Adams, backup linebacker, special teams player. I'd bring him back, sure, why not? He was pretty good in the preseason, keep working with him. Next guy, DeAndre Carter. Get this man off my team. He's a terrible returner, and he fumbled in the playoffs versus the Chiefs. That play didn't even look like a fumble, man. It looked like he straight up threw the ball to the Chiefs players. Like, I don't know, man. Like, just get him out of here. Get him off my team. I hate him. Next guy, Dylan Cole. I'd bring back Dylan Cole like on a cheap 2-year deal. Dylan Cole, he struggles to stay healthy, but I like Dylan Cole when he's out there on the field. He's a good backup player, and he can cover as well. And the last guy, Roderick Johnson. I'd bring him back as a swing tackle. I don't mind Roderick Johnson. I think he's pretty cool. Y'all remember before we got Laramie Tunsil, we were praying that Rod Johnson won the starting left tackle job over Matt Khalil. That's funny. I'd still bring back Roderick Johnson, though. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all the free agents. I feel like it was split. Like some of these guys are tough to determine what you want to do with them. Other of these players you absolutely have to let go, and then some of them you kind of want to keep. So, yeah, comment down below your opinion on who you think we should keep, who you think we should let walk, and who you don't really care about. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.